welcome to the Mongoose Bay Python Show. I'm Mongoose.
I'm Baby Python.
Now, today we're not necessarily going to talk about MMA per se, what's going on right now, UFC and all that stuff right now. We got a special episode. Our topic is going to be on Bruce Lee. A song called The Godfather of Martial Arts, man. So, what you got to say right now? Look at you doing your Bruce Lee moves, man. Doing
My bad. Already, because it's instant. First of all, man, I wanted to shout out AG Smooth for being here last episode. Couldn't be here, personal family reasons. Not gonna indulge. Flip you guys! Don't show that. Anyway, no, on a serious note, Bruce Lee is the GOAT, like my man is saying. My partner right here, Mongoose, got it on lock. I'm very excited for this episode. Like you said, this may not be an episode about necessarily what's happening currently in the UFC, but he is the godfather of MMA, the godfather of martial arts to me. Period.
Bruce Lee, not just a martial artist. When people think Bruce Lee, they think, especially the common people, casual, oh, that's the kung fu guy. That's the karate guy. No,
right.
This nigga, he's a martial artist. He is a actor, director, writer, philosopher. You know what I'm saying? He was a wise, masculine, strong man, for real. Somebody that people can actually look up to, and many people have been inspired by him. So
true.
Like, just he is a like he's just he's a great person, man.
He's out of this world.
Yeah,
you got it right. He's out of this world. He can't be touched.
Some people look at Bruce Lee as if he is a god. Like,
that's what I'm saying.
He's just that. He was that influential.
This man was so influential that he influenced hip hop.
Man,
Black
how so? Come on now,
Black
you got
culture.
Elaborate on that.
Wu-Tang. Come on now.
But they like all martial arts stuff, man.
But they'll tell you firsthand, Bruce Lee is their number one person they go to, right? A whole culture of hip hop. You talking about from Wu-Tang to Run DMC,
right?
This how Bruce Lee gets out. He gets around. Even the Tupac. Tupac can tell you the same thing.
Man,
I saw multiple interviews where Tupac would speak on, like, you know, obviously Tupac could, like, hey, it's an Asian dude, this and that and the third, you know what I'm saying? Bruce Lee be killing it, man, you know what I'm saying? I go see all his movies and stuff. And I'm like, Tupac really speaking on Bruce Lee right now, you feel me?
I feel like black people, any black person you know,
anybody,
love Bruce Lee. You can't tell me shit.
Black person.
Can't tell shit about Bruce Lee.
My dad, this is how I got into Bruce Lee, through my dad. We used to watch Bruce Lee's movies all the time, right? But he told me him and my uncle used to go. And when they leave the movie theaters, they're outside like fighting each other and like throwing punches like Bruce Lee and all that other stuff. And you're like, what? But like when I watched it for myself, it's like, that makes a lot of sense. I wanted to do the same thing. I'm in the house going, wah, this and that, hitting people and stuff, you know what I'm saying? Throwing punches, like thinking I was Bruce Lee. I got pictures, like baby pictures. I wish I could show them to you. Baby pictures of me like with one leg up, just holding it, just waiting, like posing, thinking I was Bruce Lee or somebody. Like, it was just.
You know, he's the reason why a lot of people get into martial arts.
Yeah, no, that's the truth.
For real,
that's the complete truth. I mean, you can, but then he is the reason why people get into it. But then you look at some of the most famous like actors that do martial arts, like from American actors to Asian actors, Tony Jaa and Jet Li, Jackie Chan, whoever, the ones that we love and the people that you may know that may not be as well known, but each and every single one of them will still say Bruce Lee is the GOAT. And they will still name Bruce Lee as an influence for them to do martial arts. Even Jackie Chan himself, we remember, I know it's a long time, the new generation's coming up, the new kids may not necessarily know Bruce Lee and Jackie Chan's dynamic and how Jet Li came in, third wheeling, and then this guy, Tony Jaa, came out of fucking nowhere.
Right.
Nobody necessarily. I'm saying what I'm trying to say is that the young kids may not know about that, but we remember that. Our generation remembers that time and place, and for them, and for every single one of those people that came after Bruce Lee, especially Jackie Chan, on down, say Bruce Lee is the GOAT. One, then two, that they are influenced by Bruce Lee.
Right.
Who is also an actor, director, martial artist, philosopher, father, family man, whatever, right? All of these things.
Hey,
And he's a
most
Chinese,
important
but
teacher.
teacher. How can
Most
you not?
important teacher.
Most important, very important teacher to Westerners and Asian culture.
And you know what I love about him, man?
And in more than one way, more than one way, whatever, you know what I'm trying to say. More than
Right.
one way. More than one
You know
way.
what I love about him? From his philosophy, he wants people to think for themselves.
Yeah.
That's one of the things he talked about. He wants you to know yourself and think.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Think for yourself. Now, as a teacher, I read that he says, teacher, I can't give you the truth. As a teacher, I'm here to guide you to the truth. You know what I'm saying? You gotta discover the truth for yourself. But as a teacher, I'm there to guide you, like a medium to the truth or a catalyst, like if you will. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I completely get you.
So it's like just understanding. It's just him saying those things because he doesn't want you to go with the crowd. He wants you to think for yourself.
Excuse me.
He wants you to like he said, empty your mind.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I said, empty your mind. Be formless, shapeless, like water. Now you put water into a cup, it becomes the cup. You put water into a bottle, it becomes the bottle. You put it in a teapot, it becomes the teapot. Now water can flow or it can crash. Be water, my friend. Like that, you see?
No, I see. I get the idea.
You know what I'm saying? Because I was
Tell me about
reading
that.
a parable that he
You like
mentioned.
water, my friend.
Right.
Water.
And it was a parable that I read that he used to say. Pretty much the parable was a man called a learning man. Okay, a man that wants to learn. Okay, goes to a Zen teacher, a Zen monk or whatever, right? Now, the learning man wants to learn from the monk, right? But every time the monk speaks, the learning man interrupts him. Just keeps interrupting him. The monk.
Can I say something?
Hold on. The monk gets frustrated, takes a cup, pours the tea into the cup for him to drink. Then the cup is full. Then it starts overflowing. The learning man says, "Stop." He said, "It's already full." And he said, and the monk pretty much said, "Exactly. How can I fill your cup if it's already full?" See that?
Got him.
That's deep.
That's deep.
Yeah.
Bro. Like that's deep. That's some deep stuff right there to know that. Yeah, man, that's some deep stuff. I was with you on that story. That's a good one.
Yeah, man.
That's a great parable. Like how can you? You can't learn nothing if you're not willing to learn. Basically, like
Right.
if you're already full, like you know everything, then what is there to?
Right. You have to have that ability to humble yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
And empty what you think you know. Like another thing he used to say. What was it? I know you know what I'm talking about, right? Said, learn what is useful.
Yeah, and discard what is not.
Discard what is useless and add to what's essentially your own.
And that's what he did.
Mm-hmm.
I know we haven't dug into this yet, but if you don't know, Bruce Lee has his own specific style that he made up. It is called Jeet Kune Do.
Jeet Kune Do, bro.
Jeet Kune Do. I don't know why I'm having tongue twisters,
But
but he made this up himself. So to know that, basically that same whole saying that you just said, keep what is useful, discard what is not, and add to what you've learned or something, something like whatever you just said completely.
do you know what led him to learn that, to developing that style?
What?
Cause let me start with this. Before, like his first style, he started learning, I believe, at the age of 13 or 14, martial arts. His first style was Wing Chun, Chinese Kung Fu.
Ip Man.
Right, learn from
His master.
His master, his mentor, Ip Man.
Yep.
And he used to believe that it was a superior style, the superior way.
Yeah.
And then it came a time, cause
I think martial artists, like if you look at a lot of the older movies too, even the like American, like, excuse me, I'm not trying to be rude, but like Ip Man, it's not an American film, but like it's tilted on that brim of like, this is also for Americans to watch. To where it's like a lot of the Asian culture movies are very much Asian culture. Like there's weird ass, they got scorpions, they got the old school outfits on. You're like, what the fuck? Like I watched this Asian movie the other day. Not trying to get off topic, but I'm trying to make a point here. To where like it was like two brothers, different world or something like that, right? Anyway, this Asian guy, Chinese guy had to fight went with these other group of men to fight this like tournament, but they ran into different entities. Like there was a big ass scorpion, there was a big skeletons that popped up out the ground, all kinds of weird shit, right? But I find that a lot of Asian movies have this very like spiritual side to it, but they show it on screen, so it almost throws you off. Like, what the fuck am I watching, right?
Right.
And Ip Man is not that. And the main point I was making to that is that I feel like, from what I've learned from this film and reading some of Bruce Lee's books and things, is that martial arts was looked at differently back there. It was looked at as a hierarchy. Like Japanese people thought their version of martial arts, which was karate, was superior to Chinese, which was kung fu,
Right.
and Wing Chun and things like that. And Koreans was doing taekwondo and stuff like that. So obviously this is not a history lesson in martial arts, but I think I was trying to harp on your point of him thinking that martial arts had a structure to where this is the art that needs to be known, should be known, can't be beat type deal, is because that's the way each martial arts home and house thought it should have been for their home.
Right.
That's all. I was just making that point.
Okay. But like what I was saying was that, like, you know, like you were saying, he thought Chinese kung fu, kung fu, that's what they call kung fu, was superior art, superior style to, he was saying that's the ancestor of karate and judo and other martial arts. And, but then, you know, how he was teaching students how to fight, he was saying it needs to be for the streets, how to kill your opponent, take them as fast as you can. The Chinese didn't like him teaching white people, black people, people that are non-Chinese, Westerners pretty much. And they actually had a Chinese martial artist fight him for the right to teach. His name was Wong Jack Man.
You know name, huh?
Yeah. And they had a private fight. His wife Linda, that's her name, right? I don't know. Yeah, Linda.
Linda Lee.
Yeah. She talks about it, how the fight went down. Other people talk about it too. This is pretty much how the fight went down.
Yeah, Linda.
Bruce Lee, right?
Yeah, Linda. Yeah.
Bruce Lee, when he fought Wong Jack Man, this is how the fight went down. He was fighting Wong Jack Man, but he was whooping his ass. So Wong Jack Man spent the fight running away from Bruce Lee. And it got to a point Bruce Lee had to pin him down, and to the point where Wong Jack Man said, "I give up." Now, he beat him. He has a right to teach to Westerners, people that are non-Chinese. Oh, you know what? Bruce Lee was mad at himself. You know why Bruce Lee was mad at himself? Because he didn't take him out as fast as he wanted to.
Makes sense, though.
He didn't take him out as fast as he wanted to. So, he started developing the style, the way of the intercepting fist, which is Jeet Kune Do.
Yeah.
And he was studying boxing and other styles. And this is why I love about Bruce Lee. This is why, I was going to hop on this later, but I'm kind of getting right here. This is why I believe Bruce Lee, if he was to fight MMA today, he'd be champion.
Yeah. I
champion. But here's the thing, he was ahead of his time, always learning. You know what I'm saying? He knew himself. He knew himself. He was a teacher. Anyway, he would always learn different styles of martial arts. He was the first to believe that you needed all the different styles to be a complete fighter. You understand me? So he started watching boxing films, studying boxing. He trained his new style, Jeet Kune Do, and for a year he trained with Gene LeBell. Gene LeBell, he's a legendary judo artist and grappler, wrestler, and that's when Bruce Lee started dabbling in grappling. See, Bruce Lee, he would never stop learning. That's why he would be so great. He would never stop learning. You understand me?
Mental toughness.
And he learned from him, and you can see in his movies, close to the end of his career in the movies, he was using grappling holds. He was using arm bars. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He was using throws.
Yeah.
He was doing different grappling moves.
He was
like,
fucking niggas up.
right. And
everywhere.
And the Dragon, remember he was fighting the dude
Yeah.
before he went to fight Bolo?
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
he was doing some shit ahead of his time, low key.
Big Hercules, Bolo.
And
whoop.
so that's why I'm like, and Bruce Lee, if he was around today, around our age, you know, I feel like he would be champ.
I know he'd be champ.
He would be champ. He would be a bantamweight champ. He would be probably a flyweight or bantamweight.
Hey, honestly, the
champion,
flyweight thing throwing me because Bruce was already at 141, and he was lean. I mean, probably the leanest mother trucker I've ever seen.
Right.
Like, ridiculous. Like, no, that nigga was like, he had, I don't know how.
In a way, you right.
He had a true,
because him being
goddess
141,
specimen type body.
the best he could cut with you know what I'm saying, how ripped he was,
Yeah.
the best he could probably cut would be 135. So he would be a bit.
That's the best.
He'd be a bantamweight.
He would have to stay at bantamweight. Ain't no way you cut no more, bro. The way he was ripped, it was too shredded, too perfect. Like he was eating just enough. He had his body just right. Him to cut anymore, it'd be, you know how we used to say like, oh, that's dangerous, cutting all the weight, blah blah blah. But yeah, it is dangerous, still dangerous. I would never recommend it to anybody, especially if you wrestle. You know what I'm talking about, any kind of fight sport. They know what we're talking about. But
right.
It's like
if you do cut weight, make sure it's only for a fight, man.
Yeah, make sure it's only
for a fight.
Don't do that BS if you just talking about, I want to go on a diet. No, nigga, you gonna die. Mental toughness ain't there when you doing everyday activities. But yeah, this flyweight thing I can't see, but I agree. He would definitely be champion. He breaks down legs. He moves too fast. His jab game is out this world. Like you said, he was studying boxing. But I would arguably say he has the best jab ever. Literally. His jab leads everything to you. Like, when he jabs, that's him telling you, I'm ready to fight. Like, you know how some fighters like, oh, I need to be hit. And now they kind of wait, they ready to go. Or like, some fighters need to like, do some weird shit before they fight. And you're like, what the fuck? But that helps them get that mental barrier, like, I gotta punch this man in the face. Because we still human, so part of us is like, our natural instinct is not to sit here and say, I want to fight you. If that was the case, we'd be doing shit right now, right? You see what I'm saying? So our natural instinct is not just to look at somebody and be like, man or woman, or you being a man to man, woman to woman, whatever. You're not going to look at somebody and say, I'm going to fight you right now. When I never met you. There's some people, you look at you like, fuck you, nigga. Whatever, right? We get it. But in general, our natural instinct is not to do that. So some people do weird ass shit before fights to get themselves ready. Bruce Lee didn't have to do nothing weird. He would just stretch. Even in his movies, you see him stretching, like, what the fuck is he doing? He's doing these long ass stretches, like, damn, it's like about to run a truck. And this huge ass wingspan comes out the side of his body. You're like, what the fuck? He does this, and here goes a whole ass wing. This nigga was ripped, right? So now, take all of that into consideration, and then to know that when you about to fight, how like Anderson's warm up to let you know he was ready to fight, low key, was him getting hit slightly by accident, like once, and then him slipping a lot. Then you knew, okay, Anderson's gonna fight. Bruce's would be, all right, walking up to you, whoop! That little, just that. Even if he hits you or doesn't hit you, he knows it came close to your face or he actually tapped you. He knows what he did. He did. He either just did it in front of your face, and he did it on purpose, or he hit you with it and just tapped you.
Right.
One of the two. Right? Only third option is him actually hitting you with it. But we all gonna know because we gonna see your head snap back. That's how good his jab is. But that right there tells you he's ready to fight. Because from there you're getting kicks that come off like jabs.
Hey, he was ahead of his time. And you know what I like about him though? Like, I say like movie wise and his fight scenes. He was the first to like, you know how back then they had kung fu movies and stuff like that. He wasn't the first person to do a kung fu movie.
No, definitely not.
But he was the first one to make a grounded kung
Yeah.
fu movie
Yeah, most definitely.
where it's like
It made sense.
right when the
All the
fights
moves
made sense.
Yeah.
It was
They
grounded,
weren't jumping.
realistic. He wasn't.
Naruto.
Yeah, flying in the air.
Fucking
It wasn't really silly. It wasn't no ha ha ha. You know what I'm saying?
Poses every pose.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, like,
Yeah.
cause you know, I feel like those movies back then, those like ridiculous kung fu movies and stuff back then, were kind of derived from a Chinese. How can I
Shows.
say, like Chinese operas?
Yeah, Chinese operas and shows. Like
Right. So it's like
Most
it's
definitely.
done like in a play form,
Yeah, hell
like
yeah.
matter.
Completely.
Right. So it's not really meant to be realistic.
That's
and
completely
stuff
where it
like
comes
that.
from. That right there is, you said the exact correct 1000%. A for you, my friend. A for you. Because that is exact. Like that's exactly where that comes from. So them, like when they do the posing and all of that and the faces and all that comes from their old school style of like when they had shows. And their shows would either be them like pretending to fight or dance. And you had to know the difference, but usually it was told through the story, so you kind of knew like, oh, they're dancing with each other. Even though it looks like they're kind of fighting, they're like, here's a weird like little move, and they're like this, but they're dancing. But then when they're fighting, it's probably more stronger or sturdy, you know what I'm saying, or whatever the difference was back then. But they would tell it through the story. So all of that just translates to when they started making pictures, the moving pictures. I think that's what they were called in the beginning, moving pictures. It translated. Because now, the same way we had in America, silent films and like niggas was like, they're just walking down the street. But you see them walking down the street and it's being recorded on this thing that's going,
Right.
same thing with them. Them niggas is like, oh, they're dancing. But you see them dancing on this thing, and it looks better because there's like, this, I don't know, whatever. Now we're getting to movies, but you're right though, like, that whole, he was the first person to make martial arts make sense for America.
Right. And his footwork and his techniques, it's like, bro, this dude was a real deal.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Bruh, for real.
Yeah. I mean, and it's funny, I want to talk about this a little earlier, but I meant to say it while we were talking about it. Because I was saying influencers, how a lot of martial artists would say Bruce Lee is their influence, right? And then you say, well, who is Bruce Lee's influence? He had American influences. From Muhammad Ali to who came?
That was his favorite fighter.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
but then
he loved Muhammad Ali.
But then when you see it makes sense when you see his footwork.
Mm-hmm.
He used to do the same little shuffle feet. He did it to Chuck Norris. Remember?
He did that in Chuck Norris movie,
Yeah.
Way of the Dragon.
Hit him with it. Like he did a little feet. Remember he started shuffling his feet. I was like, well, what are you about to do? And he just kept moving like. And it's like Bruce Lee does not play. He just doesn't. He took what he needed, discarded what he didn't need. And boxing was something he knew he needed. I want to refrain from completely switching the subject because I want to get into something pretty specific here.
Okay.
About him being inside of the UFC and how would that look? What would you think? But I wanted to say he was just so fast, right? Just such a fast learner, and so fast on his feet that sometimes I think like, yeah, he studied all these other art forms, but what did he look like doing them? Like, did Bruce Lee look like a boxer, or did he look like Bruce Lee? You feel me? And yeah, we know at the end of the day he looked like Bruce Lee, but he took that form of boxing and made it his own, or he took that form of martial art and made it his own, which became Jeet Kune Do. And it makes sense when you see it, whenever you see like renderings of his martial arts, you see certain forms look like, why are they standing? Compared to like, because obviously I did Taekwondo as a kid, and a lot of my stuff is like a lot of characters with their legs in the air and niggas high legs and some guy jumping up. Even on the cover of my book, there's a guy jumping in the air like that, like the Bruce Lee little jump, right? Because you know we're all about using our feet and kicking people in the face and stuff. So when I look at my book, that it reflects. There's a lot of footwork. I'm kicking people, a lot of back legs and a couple arm movements. There's a cat stance, a little small cat stance. But if you look at Bruce Lee's book, there looks like there's a lot of cat stance. But it isn't cat stance anymore. It's just you standing upright as a person. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So there's a difference there. My martial arts says, this little stance is a cat stance. His martial arts says, I'm just fucking standing around.
And you know what's funny about you saying that? His idea was to simplify everything, to simplify the
Exactly.
martial arts.
Exactly.
Like he doesn't like when people instruct you like step here, step here, step here, step here. He shows you the whole flow of one step.
Yeah.
Doing the technique. You understand? He simplifies techniques and the way he teaches. Because you feel like, that's just overcomplicated. You know how normal traditionalists may teach, and he wanted to get away from that. Because he didn't like katas and forms. He felt like that was unrealistic.
Yeah.
He felt like that was unrealistic to a real fight, allow unnecessary movements. And
which in reality it is. If you ever want to break down a fight, like a street fight, hell yeah, not martial arts, but kung fu, and like the older traditional styles, way too much movement. So much that, and then, matter of fact, let's take a funny scene from Indiana Jones. Remember the scene where Indiana Jones is, he was about to do something, he's trying to get away, and the Asian guy started doing all this flipping and jumping, and and Indiana Jones is looking at him like, nigga, the fuck? Right? And the dude's like, and the dude's looking like, oh, you're not about to beat me, Indiana. And I think like Indiana Jones looked at him and just took his whip and like smacked him with it. Like, and dude was like, done.
So he smacked him or did he shoot him?
I forgot. I think he shot him actually. Right? I hate saying that because I don't like guns. I'm like, bro, if you can't use your hands, don't talk to me. If you can't use your hands, your feet, whatever, don't talk to me.
Right.
I don't give a fuck. So I was straight from saying that, but I do believe he shot him, right? But my point to that is that, yes, a gun in somebody's body, but he did all this extra shit when all he had to do was square up, nigga. Square up. Like, you doing all this hard, like, you could have just squared up with the man, you feel me? You trying to fight him, let him know you don't fight him. You ain't about to just sit here and do all this extra. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
That's not needed. Like, it works. Because now I'm going to bring up something which I think a lot of people have seen. A very old school video. You remember the old school video of that white boy who is about to fight this little Mexican cholo, kind of chunkier guy though, right?
Yeah.
If you haven't, I'm going to show it to you, bro. Crazy ass fight.
Was
One
it
of the best fights I've ever seen.
the white boy knew karate?
Yeah.
And he hit him with, it was weird. I
Yeah,
think I
yeah.
remember you talking about. He knocked the
You seen
Mexican
it.
dude out.
You seen it? Yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah,
I was excited.
He did something.
But they did all extra moving. That's extra moves. And that's why I said it works. It works. But it don't work. Because if dude didn't get so caught off guard by what he did, he probably would have rocked my mans. That's what I was a little nervous of. I think a lot of hood people was like, oh, this nigga about to get rocked. That should look good, but this nigga. But then the minute we saw Mexican dude kind of like, he ain't know what to do, I said, oh yeah, white dude probably got him there. Because he got to him. So I think, I don't want to give away any secrets. I'm not like a martial arts expert, but I know a lot about martial arts, right? So I don't want no secret martial arts society coming down kicking my ass or some shit. But to me, that was a lot of scare tactics that he was using, and the shit worked out in his favor. But in real life, for somebody who's about that life, basically, they're like, fuck you. They don't fuck about you doing all that extra shit.
And here's the thing. Like, people that do that stuff, like, or let's just say a pure traditionalist, they'll be like, they do all these stances and shit like that. And that's kind of related to what you were saying, that a lot of them guys, they don't really know how to incorporate that in a real fight.
That's true.
That's another thing why I was telling y'all Bruce Lee
Very
just
true.
didn't like forms. He didn't like forms and katas and things like that. Because I've noticed that, like, people who are not trained in mixed martial arts, like, they really do not know how to incorporate their fighting techniques, their kicks, you know what I'm saying, the certain movements, certain spinning kicks, certain side kicks.
Into a fight.
They don't know how to incorporate that in a real fight scenario
Yeah.
because they don't really have that real sparring experience.
I can say that firsthand. I'm gonna tell you some stories in a minute. I'm gonna let you finish what you were saying.
Oh, you can go with the stories right now.
So my stories basically is that I firsthand know what that feels like because I did Taekwondo for so long. I was the person who loved, and I mean loved, forms and katas. Loved it. Loved it. Pasans, loved them. Loved it. Like, it was my shit. Loved it. Why did I love it? I love the little nuance in it. I love the structure to it. And I just love that. Something about it. I can do this shit perfect. Hell yeah, nigga, I'm about to get this shit perfect. Ah! I kid you not. This is not me bragging. I got first every form, every tournament. When we did forms, I got first. It never failed me. I was always in line waiting. They were like, such and such got third. Runner up, blase blase. And in first place, Jeffrey Hill was like, oh shit. Thank you. Every time. I remember there was like one time, I kid you not, the kid who got runner up, I was like, damn. I knew I won because I said if I didn't win, if I got runner up, the other kid won. Cause I saw that kid, I was like, damn, that nigga was sharp. He was clean, it was on point. He ain't miss a beat, he ain't miss no hoo-ahs, no flying kicks, none of that shit. So we all lined up waiting and listening. You gotta be real straight and just waiting for your thing. And they said third place. We kind of knew, okay, whatever, fuck it. And then they got the runner up. I think they kind of knew. They like did this anticipation pause, and they were like, and runner up is blase, like something Johnson, whatever the kid's name was, right? And I was like, and my eyes lit up like this. If that nigga got second, I know I got first. I was ecstatic. But if I'd have heard my name, I would have knew he had first, and I just would have knew it because we was like, that's how good he was. But my main point was that, yes, the only thing that saved me is that I would fight my friends and people at school. Like, you remember Zach? I fought Zach.
Mm-hmm.
We did MMA together. And the only reason I even got better, because I would fight people outside of my dojo, right? Just on the street or whatever, playing around being boys. Or like my cousins and stuff. You fuck around, you get mad at them or some shit, or you just want to fight each other. What better way to learn it and do it when you're not at a scenario to where this is required of you. You need to do it this way, you need to do it that way. Just try to do it now.
Right.
And I was always forced into those situations, so I've learned to adapt. And like, that's why I was saying, when I saw the video of the white boy, I was like, these moves are way too flashy, he's probably about to get his shit rocked. But then, he got lucky because the Mexican dude was kind of thrown off by, like, the dude, you saw Mexican dude kind of like, put on this like bitch square up too, like his hands like this.
Kind of stiffed up.
Yeah, he kind of stiffed up, like it threw him all the way off. And when he leg checked him, he really didn't know what to do then. He was like, oh, I don't know what to do. He's kicked me in my leg. You know what I mean? Like, and that's how he won that. Which I'm not mad at, of course. Hell yeah, bro. Like, hell yeah, if that shit help you win, that's what niggas want. So my main story was that I learned how to do all my moves that I was already doing so perfectly in forms because I was fighting outside. So like when I fought Zach, as big as he is, when I did a back kick to him, it stopped him in his tracks. Like, as big as that nigga is, as small as I am, a proper back kick will end you.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, if you can't put that into perspective or into a fight, like, you're going to get your ass kicked every time. And Bruce Lee is not one to... He took every form, honed it, kept it, perfected it, and made it his own.
Right.
And that's why I believe in his style of fighting. But I just want to go back to the main point of doing forms, knowing a certain style, but the moves being too flashy in a real fight. Is that I know how that feels. Mm-hmm. I went the long way, roundabout way about that, but I know how that feels personally. First-hand experience.
Right.
I could either be getting my ass kicked today or fighting.
Right.
And I'm doing the latter, so.
And it's like, you gotta know, I'm gonna get back on topic, but it's like, people do not know. People know the right foot placement, how to kick and stuff like that, but it changes when you're in a fight scenario.
It does.
It changes. It's like, you really have to know when to kick when to react, when to step, when to step forward, when to step back, how to anticipate when something is coming, how to react. Like, if you should be an aggressor, if you should be more passive, you should be, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Cause something like we was talking about doing forms and stuff like that. You're training how to do everything properly, precisely.
What did Bruce say? Boards don't hit back.
That was him?
That was him.
What movie was that?
Enter the Dragon.
In the Dragon, he said that?
Yeah. Because remember, it's at the beginning of the movie. Remember, he fought the dude, did the armbar to the little fat, chubby guy, and then when they was walking down...
Boards don't hit back.
In the little, like, I'm going to call it the little serene area. It was on the bridge, and this little student came up to him and was like, Master, blase, blase. And he said, try to hit me, or whatever, and he tried to hit him, and it smacked him, and he said you got to remember something, you do this, do that. But he said, remember that boards don't hit back. Because dude was so good at like his forms, and he said, I got the proper technique and this and that, and I'm doing everything right.
Right.
But I can't. And then so when he went to go hit him, and he thought he was going to do it perfectly, he smacked it down, smacked him in the back of his head, and told him, boards don't hit back. Basically saying, you can do all this stuff right on any given day, but the minute you're put into an actual scenario where you got to actually do it and have someone counteract what you're doing to them, basically hitting you back, you gonna either take that or get your shit right.
And like, I'm not as great as you doing the martial arts.
Nah,
like,
man,
but,
you good. No. Like, no. I may be good, but I haven't had any cage time. Nigga, you had cage time. I've had dojo mat time. You had cage time.
And like,
two different things.
Being from traditional martial arts, like family, my grandfather,
Yep,
black belt.
Yep, and your dad.
My mom's purple belt.
See what I'm saying?
She started after she had kids.
I think you told me that. Yeah, you did tell me that.
My dad, master. I want to say he's considered a grandmaster now, I think.
See?
And like, I know how to do all the kicks and things like that. I didn't like forms. I was the type of guy who wanted to spar and stuff. I knew the form. Like, I knew do the blocks. You know what I'm saying?
He was just ready to fight. I could tell.
And like, I know how to kick.
Demeanor.
People love my kicks, so I always practice my kicks. But going back to the real situation, because when I went to spar in MMA gym, shout out to Vision MMA.
Shout out Vision.
When I went to first spar in Vision MMA, I started realizing, I was like, what the fuck is going on? Yeah. Like my powers have left me, like. But like when I was sparring with the guys, and I would use certain moves, especially my kicks.
Yeah.
When I first started doing my kicks, I was like, it wasn't really effective. I was like, fuck, like. But the more I sparred, the more I got my footwork down, the more I understand when to kick. You know what I'm saying? When's the right moment to kick? When, what position should my body be in when I throw this kick? Mm-hmm. When, you know what I'm saying? When I should react to my opponent, and when, you understand me?
I know exactly what you mean.
Proper timing, proper counter movement, proper footwork. All that is important, but a lot of traditional martial arts, I feel like, I know traditionalists, if they listen, they're going to be mad as fuck, but a lot of traditional martial arts, like I said, karate,
I'll help them out.
Taekwondo,
I'll be on that part.
It's like, I feel they don't really learn the proper footwork and how to use it in a rally situation.
Keep going. And, I'll counteract or rebuttal.
And I know a guy, we sparred. Like, he came to the gym, brand new. He's really good at karate. He felt like, man, this is different, man. This is different. Like he, you know what I'm saying? He was like, man, this is different. Like the way he was fighting and shit like that. Then like later on, cause he was just so good. Later on, it's like he was just hitting ass. He was just whooping ass. And so it's just like when a traditionalist comes into comes into a mixed martial arts setting, I feel like they can use their style to the what's the word I'm looking for, to the highest of their ability. They can actually incorporate their style in ways they didn't really know how to understand. But now they see the bigger picture of their techniques, because it's like, okay, I don't use this technique in this moment. There's a proper time when to do something, proper time not to do something. You feel me? So, yeah.
I'm with you, bro. The only thing I'm gonna rebuttal with that statement, really, I don't have to rebuttal because you said exactly what I was gonna say, which is that a traditionalist, like I'm gonna consider myself a traditionalist because I've never had cage time. I've only had tournaments and dojo time there. You know what I mean? At my sessions and tournaments and things like that. National tournament. Thank you very much. Should have been a national champion. Didn't have enough money to go to nationals. Whatever. Serious story, but truly, like you're right. Like I know for me, like I said, the only reason I even was able to transfer what I know into a real life scenario, I'm gonna say, is because I would mess around with my cousins outside or go to certain events that wasn't traditional martial arts, or I'm fighting with friends out back somewhere. And yeah, granted, these aren't the best places because you can get hurt easier. Ain't nobody really thinking about what they doing. But I'm so weird in the sense of that, even though that was just like, we're just having fun. My brain didn't see it like that. It saw it like, oh, this is an opportunity for me to take what I already know and either kick somebody's ass or get my ass kicked.
Right.
Because I've only been in a situation to where we know the same style. So we're doing the same style against each other. Now I'm messing with street fighters. So, like, for example, yes, granted, I was a lot younger there, because I'm 27 now, right? But back then, so I'm like, what? I'm going to say 11, 12, 13, right? Younger than, you know what I'm saying? Younger than that. All of that. These are times you really start picking up with, like, messing with your cousins, fighting, becoming a man, quote unquote, right? When I started playing with them, and my cousins are all hood. Like, the street fighters, hood people, hood niggas, right? They using their hands. One of my cousins is a Golden Glove champion boxer. So like when I used to box him, I would never win. Yes, he let me win one time, and I felt like I could beat the world. But obviously I was probably like, I was younger than 11, younger than that. You know what I mean? But I knew martial arts, taekwondo, and all this other stuff. So boxing was not my first go-to. So for me, when I stepped into that his area, I was lost. I didn't know what the fuck to do. Like I knew how to throw a punch, but I didn't know how to like sidestep to the red or sidestep, quick jab. You know what I'm saying? Anything, something quick, straight jab. I was probably throwing my jabs in my arms like, just like this. You know what I'm saying? From my arm and my hip, because I'm so traditional. And then my cousin was like, no, you gotta put your hands up. Get in there, keep a hand under the chin.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's different than what I was used to. I'm used to having my hands maybe a little more lax, maybe about right here. One for my legs, one for this whole part of my body. That's because we're doing taekwondo. Which if you know anything about taekwondo, or see the sport, there's a lot of fucking kicking, right? It's all about the feet. A lot of fancy ass footwork kicking. People don't gotta worry about somebody punching their face or throwing a crazy haymaker, none of that. And a lot of times you see taekwondo tournaments, especially in the Olympics, there's a lot of fast spinning kicks and jump kicks and back kicks and flap flap. And you see it, flap flap, flap flap. And you're like, oh, it's two, they got 2 points, whatever. That shit works in that sport. In a real ass fight, that shit's not working.
Right.
That flap flap, that double kick, which you'll see a lot of. I'll show you a taekwondo tournament right now. You'll see a double kick to both sides of the body. Pop out. Tap tap. Real fast, right? It looked crispy as fuck. You're like, damn, this nigga can fight.
But there's no power behind it.
There's no power behind it. For one, they know it's not. Any black belt or anybody that goes deep in Taekwondo can tell you. We know there's no power behind it. But still, you get so used to this tournament style that you forget that when you get into a real life situation, that you ain't did shit to the nigga. You probably didn't even touch him now. Because you're not in a tournament.
Right.
Your goal in the tournament is just to touch his pad to make the noise. You got your points. All right, cool. We ain't trying to hurt nobody. Here you have to hurt somebody.
Right.
Either you about to get your ass kicked or you kicking their ass.
Now see, now
You have to figure these kicks out.
Point fighters. That's like point fighters.
Yeah.
Versus I'm gonna kill your ass fighter.
Exactly.
So it go back to that, and it also going back. Let's go back to Bruce Lee. He's all about developing a style, like of taking someone out as fast as possible, efficiently.
Yes.
But like he grew and learned.
See, it all ties in.
Right. He grew and learned.
This is why he's the Godfather.
Right. And that's why he grew and learned that you needed all aspects of all styles. And also he said this. He came to this conclusion. It's not about the style that's greater than the, like let's say I karate, you got taekwondo, or like let's say so I wrestle, or I guess jiu-jitsu. It's not the style. It's the person.
That is very true.
It's not the style that's going to be the better. It's going to be the person.
The person, yeah.
It's all about the person when it comes down to it.
Yeah.
You see, actually, I do not teach, karate because I do not believe in styles anymore. I mean, I do not believe that there is such thing as like Chinese way of fighting or the Japanese way of fighting or whatever way of fighting.
Yeah. You can say, I study this and that, this and that. But when it comes down to it, who's the most willing? Who's the most savage? Who's, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's what it comes down to.
I think it truly does, because Bruce Lee was he was a true martial artist, like traditional in every sense of the word, but also experimental.
Right.
But he was such a philosopher that I think that's where a lot of people get thrown off at this point. Because you're like, he is savage. He'll kick your ass. He'll do this. He'll do this. He can do all of that stuff to you, but he's still humble about it. And that's where the philosopher comes in at. But to harp on your point of, you think it's not also what you know, but who you are. That's true. Because we had a kid, the same person who I used to mess with, and fight and things like Zach. You know Zach, obviously, right? Zach, a cold martial artist too. His brother Justin knows karate. He knows karate too. So we have fun sparring and messing around, and just boys being boys. Great Christian man, you know what I'm saying? But he had a neighbor who came over like probably every other day. Little skinny white boy. Mind you, we in 8th grade. Do I rarely not like people, you feel me? I don't. We know this.
Right.
Did I not like this kid? Yes. Why? Because this kid came over every single day. Just to say, because he would see us outside sparring and messing around and talking about martial arts and stuff like that. And he was like one of these little, like, kind of like Zach. Like, they should almost be in a trailer park, but they not, which is good. Not trying to, it's the same as saying you hood. They white hood, I guess. He would come up every day talking about Muay Thai this, Muay Thai that. We kick trees, and my shins are this and that and the third. And we would say, all right, bro, like, you saying all this hoopla and all this nonsense, but not once did you put the gloves on. And not once have we ever seen you kick a tree. Have you even came outside and showed us a move. You just come outside saying all this that you do at your dojo with your sensei and this and that and the third. And you showing us little old ass dirt stains on your leg and shit talking about, we kick trees, we do this. I'm like, bruh, no. And here's the fucked up part. Some of this gonna sound like maybe I had a crazy childhood, but the kid was about my size, right? Skinny, but about my size. Obviously, I'm at Grace. I'm a little smaller than this. Definitely a lot skinnier than this. But he would come up every day, and I think all of us as friends, as a collective, was like, the first time, okay, cool, yeah, cool, we get it. It's like, it's the same as watching a Bruce Lee movie. You gonna see some people fight, oh yeah, hell yeah, they doing that shit. Let me go talk about my shit too. Cool. We wasn't mad. We was like, alright, yeah, that's what's up. Yeah, bro, alright, yeah, that's what's up. Yeah, we out here, we just messing around, blah, blah, blah. He come out so many other days saying the same shit. We kick boards, we do this, we do that, we do this. I'm tired from this and this. Put the gloves on, nigga.
Right.
Put them on now.
Right.
The first day we didn't mind. We didn't mind. Now it's becoming an issue. Now it's becoming like, you gotta show us what you got then, bro. Like, you come out here every day, but my main reason for bringing the story up is that I feel like, and I know, he didn't have it in him.
Right.
He probably didn't even know Muay Thai. He just figured I'm gonna come outside and talk my ish.
Right.
Because they out here messing around.
So he might as well not even say shit.
He might as well not even have said it. And that's the fucked up part. But I remember this specifically one day when he was outside talking to Hoopla. He's standing right here by me. And we're all just listening to him and like, and the gloves were out. And we kind of looking like, we keep kind of like looking at the gloves like, we're right here. Even I'm looking at him, I'm like, I know you're not about to fight Zach. Zach too big. I barely want to fight the nigga. I just fought him because like, I'm the new kid. It kind of has to be done. And on top of that, like Zach, he wasn't gonna kill me. I know he wasn't trying to kill me, but like we gonna fuck each other up today. You feel me?
Right.
Like, cause it was like we friends. We just met, but you know, you being a new kid, being boys, you gonna test each other. So like, yeah, I'm fucking around. Zach big as hell. You see how big Zach is, right? I should have been fighting Josh or somebody. You remember Mexican Josh, or Mexican boy?
Nah, I don't remember.
Well, Josh, I should have been fighting Josh or somebody. It's more my size, right? Josh was bigger than me
was he the
too.
Mexican that didn't speak Spanish?
He didn't speak Spanish.
Okay, I know you talking about.
He cool. He cool as hell. But
Yeah.
like, he was probably more my speed, honestly, in 8th grade. You know what I mean? Because he wasn't as big and like as bulgy as Zach was. He was like smaller, a little shorter than Zach, but just like smaller in weight. Zach was way bigger than me, dude. Like, so I'm like, this white boy's not about to fight Zach. It's not happening.
Right.
You too much of a little punk. It's not happening. So you're gonna have to fight me. I'm not scared of you for one. If I fought this nigga, I'm not about to be scared to fight you because you're talking about you kicking some trees. And I know, instinctually, I was like, this nigga don't know Muay Thai. I can tell a fake one from a real one pretty fast, and he was a fake one, like just straight up and down. I can usually tell you off like half a kick or a punch that like, oh, this person has potential, or they're a real one, or they're just fucking faking. You feel what I'm saying? Usually, not all the time. Don't let me go down that lie path and all of a sudden some niggas talking about I hit somebody like this one is like, oh, that nigga can't hit, and then when he step up to me and rock my shit, you see what I'm saying? So don't have me out here lying, but you right. You either got it in you or you don't. He didn't have it in him.
Right.
Let's get back to Bruce, man. 'Cause
Yeah.
Bruce,
Getting back to the fighting and things like that. A lot of people. It's like people be like, oh, Bruce Lee didn't compete and all this other stuff, blah blah blah. But it's like Bruce Lee has more fighting experience than you even realize. Especially when his father sent him to California
yeah,
because he was getting the fights all the time.
Yeah.
Street fights
exactly.
all the time as a what was he, 18?
Yeah,
Probably lower. Probably yeah. He
younger
sent
than that. Yeah,
him to the States because he was just getting the fights, hurting
Yeah.
people, and
Yeah.
didn't he hurt police officer's son?
yep,
Yeah.
yep. You see what I'm saying? Like, granted, yeah, Bruce Lee probably wasn't the best early on, like as a young man, but he turned out to be a GOAT. But it's like, bruh, like you can't.
He has actual real street
Yeah, like
experience.
you
Like
can't be mad at him for being a human at the end of the day. Like he's gonna have a normal teenager life, which is funny to say because like he's such a philosopher, this and that and the third, to know that he was getting in these
but then
normal street fights and
as when
getting
you
picked on and
when you grow, get older, you're gonna have to be forced to grow, especially if you want to make yourself better than what you are.
yeah,
Not just in martial arts, but as a person.
yeah.
And he went to school. What university? Washington University.
Was it Washington? It wasn't San Francisco.
University of Washington. I believe that was the university he went to, where he studied philosophy.
The University of Washington. I'm checking into it right now.
Does it say it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
So I was
completely right.
Now, him studying to be a philosopher, like, I feel like that kind of helped him grow too. Because another thing, his foundation was Chinese martial arts. So it's like he connected that with it. And and like the old saying is, martial arts, hand-to-hand combat, is the foundation of all combat. You know what I'm saying? And when you think about it, combat is a way of life. 'Cause at the end of the day, we're animals. and you're gonna understand a lot about yourself through, martial arts, through challenging yourself, through learning how to fight, you understand what I'm saying? And he, at the same time, he's a philosopher. He learns what he learned, from philosophy, but then he connects that to his martial arts. That's what makes him even more dynamic, because now he's thinking out the box. You understand me? Because it's like it's more about learning about yourself and learning about life at the same time. You understand what I'm saying? And yeah, and I say that's about it right now. We're gonna do
so too.
We're gonna do another video on him.
Part 2, yeah.
We're
definitely on part 2. This one's a little bit longer, and sorry to take up all your time, but you gotta understand Bruce Lee is a GOAT. And yeah, we kind of got off topic a little bit, but you gotta know when you talk about Bruce Lee, you're gonna get off topic, because it's like you bring in your own stories, plus Bruce's story, plus just who he was, makes you understand martial arts and who you are as a person so much more. Which basically, I think your last statement, you're trying to say that martial arts is a lifestyle, not just a exercise or something to do.
Right. It's a way of life.
It's a way of life. So yeah, there you have it. Part 1 of the Bruce Lee series. Part 1, people, coming at you live and intact. So to end this bad boy out, like, comment, subscribe down below. Listen to the podcast. Follow us on Instagram. And and what else do we have? And YouTube, obviously, which is where we're on.
Right, of course.
I'm an idiot. I'm an idiot.
Yeah, Mongoose Baby Python on Instagram.
Just Instagram.
Check us out on Facebook as well, Mongoose Baby Python.
Yep.
Yeah, like, comment, subscribe, give support.
We need to get on our Snapchat game.
We still early, still young, we still fresh.
Yep.
We still trying to get this YouTube thing going.
Oh yeah.
And whatever fans we do have, we love y'all. Thanks for the support. Keep supporting us, and we keep giving you good content. Peace.